A doctor? No, a teacher. But I would love to join the military. This is what I sound like and think about all the time. I am always thinking about what I am going to do when I graduate high school, and it is so stressful. I feel like I don't know what I really want to do with the rest of my life, and I think a lot of people can relate with this issue. Did you know that 75% of American college students start college not knowing what they want to do, according to central.edu? Think of how much easier it would be to go into college knowing what you want to do, instead of being at college and stressing because you don't know what your future plans are. Many teens nowadays are being asked the question, what do you want to do when you grow up? Many are saying, I don't know, but then still going to college with that same uncertainty. This brings us to the assumption that there is a need for finding out what your purpose in life is. That can be solved by taking a gap year before college in order to experience the benefits. The problem is that there is a need for time off before going to college. The problem is that too many teens are rushing straight into college once they graduate from high school. One big reason for this is because people nowadays think that if you don't go to college right away, you will never want to go back, according to Michael Unger. I think this is especially relevant in today's society. When asking my mom what she thought about taking a gap year, she said, if you take a gap year, you will probably not want to go to college after your year is over. Let's take a look at 3 main problems that occur when rushing into college. The first problem is that you'll probably just choose a major or a career that you have practically no information or experience on. You have to think about everything your job would entail, not just the glamorous parts of it. Many teens just focus on the perks of the job and not the tough parts that you would have to work through. For example, being a model. Many people look at being a model as fun and easy and you get all this attention. But if you take a closer look, you would be surprised. Many models starve themselves just to get the perfect look. Second is that once these teens are committed to go to college, they face the problem of student debt. The average debt upon graduation is over $40,000. With all this debt, these young adults have no other option but to continue with the career that they just went to college for, even if they are unhappy with it. The worst thing that can happen is having a job that you don't enjoy, but you have to do it anyways. Last is that rushing into college can potentially close doors to future career opportunities. Teenagers need time to discover what they like to do and to see all the different career options they have to choose from. This question of whether or not taking a gap year is beneficial and is a huge part of today's society. In 2018 to 2019, about 3.6 million students are expected to graduate high school and will have to decide what they are going to do with their life. This problem impacts not only the teens deciding if they want to go to college or not, but also impacts parents, other family members, and their friends. The solution can be satisfied by taking a gap year. So the first step is to plan your gap year. One big thing you have to think about when planning it is how you are going to pay for it. You need to think if you need to fundraise or if you already have the savings. The second thing to consider is what you want to accomplish in your gap year. Do you want to learn a new language, immerse yourself in a different culture, or do some volunteer work? All of these are great options. The last thing you might want to do when planning your gap year is talk to people who have taken a gap year. They are the best sources of information. They could share all about their experiences and what they gained from their year off. The second step is to actually go on your gap year. Make sure that you have your whole trip planned out so you don't stress about any of the details. I guess the most important thing to remember when you are on your gap year is to connect with yourself and find out the things that you like to do. Another important thing is to take your gap year seriously. Don't just goof off and do nothing your gap year. That is the worst mistake you can make. So there are several benefits for this solution. The first area that you will benefit in is personally. You will have increased self-awareness. You will recognize that there are so many different cultures out in the world. You will learn how the way you live impacts the rest of the world. You will also increase your self-confidence, maturity, and independency. According to the American Gap Association, they found that 97% of respondents felt that their year improved their maturity. You will learn to step up and be a leader and become independent. An important thing that could happen is you could become happier also. The second area that you will benefit in is social. You'll have made long-lasting friendships. This is one of the best rewards you can receive. These friendships will last way past your gap year. You will also gain better communication skills. Working with a ton of different kinds of people will force you to learn many effective ways to communicate in a wide range of situations. Another thing that goes along with this is if you take a gap year overseas, you can learn a second language. This will allow you to connect with people in the country you're taking a gap year in and will help you when applying for jobs. The last area that you will benefit in is academically. You will have increased chances of graduating on time. Students who have completed gap years graduate in 4 years or less compared to the national average of 6 years. An important thing that you will benefit in is that you will have a better idea of what you are interested in as a career or major. According to Gap Year Advantage, 60% of respondents felt that their gap year influenced their major. Gap years help you find what you are passionate about and what you like to do. 75% of respondents also told American Gap Association that going on a gap year helped or will help them get a job. Going overseas helps show people that you are not afraid of taking on new challenges. So, overall, you can see that there are a ton of benefits that come along with taking a gap year.
Yeah.
After researching all this information, I feel, for me personally, that I will be taking a gap year to learn more about myself and the world around me. I don't want to go into college stressing about what I am going to do with the rest of my life. This brings us back to the problem. Too many teens are rushing into college not knowing what they want with their life or who they really are. This problem can be fixed by taking a gap year to reap the benefits. You benefit in 3 major areas: personal, social, and academic. I encourage you to take a gap year or discover more about yourself.